Hey, here we go. I don't normally get suited up for these, or, well, actually, I don't know if I do. This is the first official episode I'm recording. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing physical bits or I don't know. What the fuck am I talking about? I mean, the point is, just a few days ago, I got back from a trip to New Bern, which is my official place of birth. I went to an aquarium, my childhood aquarium, got this hat, sick. Stopped up to some, some hippie goth girl store. I picked up this amethyst bracelet. I guess it's supposed to make me strong or whatever. And I found this creature as well. They followed me home. Episode 1 type shit. Yeah, we're gonna get it to it, you know? I don't know. What am I talking about? What was any of that? I trust you as my audience member that you would have read the title or at least looked at the thumbnail before clicking on the video, so I don't have to be one of those fucking stupid ass, dumbass, annoying YouTubers who take 5 years to reiterate what you already know. I'll only do it this once. Aggretsuko. Like 33.3% of Netflix's furry anime. Maybe 25? I haven't seen Dorohedoro, so I don't know if it counts, but I know main characters. Actually, fun fact, lizard sonas are called scalies. It still does fit into my definition because I didn't really specify fur or mammal or anything. Just animal. So I guess it counts. But whatever. And also whatever. I haven't seen it. We're gonna stick with 1/3. Okay, we're gonna stick with 1/3 for this one. Aggretsuko is a very cute multi-season ordeal about a little red panda girl struggling with the trials and tribulations of the real world. If only she had some sort of coping mechanism. Oh wait, she does. She's a death metal singer. She carries around a microphone with her at all times and does that heavy metal deep throat yell type shit to calm down, but she's embarrassed, so she doesn't want anybody to know. This is going to be an overview of the first season. Like I said, this is a 5-season ordeal plus a 30-minute Christmas special. And I didn't want to put all the effort into studying them for this podcast because I wouldn't know if it would be a humongous waste of time or not, as stated in the previous episode. So I'm just going to be talking about season 1, the overarching kind of themes, not really story. There's not a huge, okay, here's the thing. It's a clear and concise timeline, but the episodes kind of focus on different things, different topics, which is pretty interesting, at least for season 1. When you get to season 2, they become a bigger plot and they become a bit less relatable, I also might add. Season 1 hangs on its relatability, because a lot of the things that Aggretsuko faces are hashtag relatable. Things that we experience in real life type shit. I know how Retsuko's feeling at this certain moment because I've been in a similar situation kind of thing. Not exact. I've never been an accountant, nor have the majority of many people, but we could still see Retsuko's problems and the things she faces and being like, that's so me. When you get to the later seasons, it becomes a bit more far-fetched. Like when she starts dating a tech millionaire, Mark Zuckerberg type, or when she gets into an accident with the owner of a K-pop band and is forced to work with him to pay him back and then eventually becomes part of the band. I don't remember anything from seasons 4 and 5, but you get the gist, I think. How do I not remember anything from those seasons? I think it's the focus switches from Retsuko to Haida, who, to my surprise, is not that big, is not that important of a character in season 1. But the Christmas special is all about him, because in the last episodes, you kind of get to learn his whole thing and how he's crushing on Retsuko. He doesn't have the balls to chase it and go after it and just tell her. My peeps out there, if you have a crush on someone and they're not dating currently, you should tell them. Just do it. Sure, they could reject you, temporary pain, whatever, don't care, all right? Sure, you could date for a little while, and then when you break up, your friendship is ruined. But that should be a risk you're willing to take, because relationships feel a lot better than friendships. I've heard. Okay, so what's the show about? So it's a slice of life / drama. A lot of the episodes are just Retsuko going through her normal work life and suffering, and it's a drama because it's dramatic. Is it a little funny? Maybe if you're brain rotted. It has very cartoony style, as I've said last episode. It kind of goes against all of its messages. It looks like a kid's show. I gotta be real. The way the characters are drawn and animated, and a lot of the visual gags of the show are like it looks like it's for little baby toddlers that only watch the screen because it's a bunch of bright neon colors dashing across the screen. It doesn't matter, you know. Not to compare this to Skibidi Toilet, of course. And it's all definitely all on purpose because its messages are like, whoa. You see, like, it almost like emphasizes and highlights the messages and themes of the show by having this cartoony style. You know, when you watch, like, this may not be an every person thing, but when I watch animation and there is blood and guts and gore and swearing, it makes that kind of tone, like, pop out more. It makes it more accentuated. I wince more at a animated character getting blown up into gory pieces than I do a real life, I shouldn't say real life, live action CGI, as realistic as possible human explosion. Very bizarre, very weird. But what are its messages? Let's see. This is in no particular order. It is oddly existential. One episode, they talk about suicide and how eventually Retsuko just gets too stressed with her work life and jumps off the building. It's only brought up like once, I think. But it's like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that in my kids' show. Comparing self to others, the relatability of the show comes in here. We've all compared ourselves to others. Why can't we be as good looking as this person? Why can't we be as funny as this person? Why can't we be as popular as this person? Other adjectives. I'm also not a therapist, so take everything I say with a little grain of salt. But it's not healthy to compare yourself to the one I know. I at least know that. You probably shouldn't do that. And Retsuko does that throughout the show. She compares herself to her other coworkers and tries to be like them, or is envious of them because she can't be like them type shit. Conforming to society. Be original. That's my message to you, the audience. Oh, yeah. Extra bullet points. What do I mean by conforming to society? Conventional attractiveness. When I say the word conventional attractiveness, I think everybody knows what I mean. Just kind of look up Instagram model on Google and you could find a perfect example of it. And for the people out there who want to make themselves look exactly like that, male, female, other, it's not worth it. Because then your uniqueness would go bye-bye. Don't be a carbon copy of somebody else. At points in the show, Retsuko struggles with her image. She wants to focus on her image. She wants to do yoga and work out and build this conventionally attractive figure in order to get married, which is disgusting. I don't remember the exact stat, but I think it's like over 50% of American marriages end in divorce. It ain't worth it. And also, it's just a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo, signing papers, combining your debit accounts. You don't need a marriage to do that. Wearing some ring around your finger that probably doesn't fit. I think it's this finger. So Retsuko, in early season, she concocts this scheme to get married to some rich guy to quit her job. In order to do that, she has to be conventionally attractive. I don't remember how she learns to get over this point. I don't remember, but she does. So she probably learned something along the lines of the mask or whatever. Oh, that's what the mask is. No, we'll get to that later, actually. Everyone puts on facades in their life in order to make new friends or keep friends or get a girl or whatever, all right? And to make connections, people put facades on. They pretend to be something they're not, and they put on masks. Put on mask. It's all metaphorical, okay? So she learns at the end of the season when she's dating this one guy who doesn't care for her at all in that way. Actually, more like he just doesn't understand. He's very socially ignorant. And he doesn't understand how to be a friend or be a boyfriend, any of that. Retsuko pretends to be a person that she's not in order to keep him or something. Oh man, am I not good at this, actually. But okay, my point is, she eventually learns to be herself, and that being someone she's not is more harmful than good. And so that's why marriage is gross. Self-expression. Be yourself. Don't wear the mask. With a smile for hours at a time. Self-expression goes back to Retsuko's coping mechanism, dealing with everything that she has going on. She goes into the bathroom, takes out the karaoke microphone, and does the heavy metal death shriek or whatever. But she's embarrassed about it. It's not something that traditionally a woman would be known to do or enjoy. I don't know girls who enjoy heavy metal. I don't enjoy heavy metal. Does that make me a woman? I don't know. Well, I do know the answer is no. No, it doesn't. So all this conforming to society, and fitting in with the gender roles, which should have been in a bullet down here. It's all bullshit. Ugh. Ugh, all right. I already talked about this. Relationship garbage, also gross. Also goes back to putting up this facade to make people happy or make yourself happy. And she deals with this type shit throughout the season, dating someone that's not right for her, but she doesn't know it because it's the first date she had in like 20 years or whatever. I also think she's like 25. Work life and shit, relatable. I think there are extra bullet points. Being overworked and overwhelmed. We see her through this season struggle with the amount of work she's given. Doesn't really know how to handle it well. Misogyny and sexism in the workplace. Her boss is that bullet point. Her boss treats her like shit, gives her all this work, and has very traditional views on gender roles in the workplace. Co-worker relations. Now, this goes back to Haida and another character named Feniko, where they're basically her only two friends at work until she meets two others, Washimi and Gori are their names. And so those are the friends that really help her through everything she deals with in the season. I can't explain it very well now, can I? Because this is like 9 episodes worth of bullshit. I think if I were to continue with this podcast, I would go back to this show and do it episode by episode to give a better breakdown, give more of my thoughts on it, and organize it better. But this is the type of shit season 1 talks about. Actually, there's one more. Finally, the show touches on the greatest gift America has given to the wider world. Capitalism. I love capitalism! Screeching Eagle. We got all of the money going to the 1%. Homelander. And of course, the flag of God's country in the back there. This place, dude. I would die for capitalism. Anyway, I love symbolism. As stated in the previous episode, in the introductory episode, I said a little bit about symbolism in furry media and how the species chosen for a character often reflects their character or is important to their character. Aggretsuko is no exception. We're going to start off with the main character, Retsuko, who's a red panda. Oh my god! No freaking way! As I was doing research for this and working on these slides, I discovered that a lot of this is actually really fucking boring. And basically just started to talk about Retsuko as a character. So I limited it to 3 bullets. Well, 3 characters. 3 of the arguably most important characters of season 1. Haida's not on this list. I'm sorry. Haida's not that important. He gets like 5 lines throughout the first 7 episodes and is a bit more important in 8, 9, and Christmas special, which I didn't watch for this. I didn't know whether to include it in season 1 or not. No. Red Panda symbolizes, among many things, individuality and non-conforming. She tries to conform, but she learns that it's all in vain because society is a joke. Call me the Joker, baby. And also she's very unique in the way she copes and expresses herself in the death metal throat yelling and the screeching or whatever the fuck you call it. That I can't do it that well, but I know what it sounds like because my dad loves that music, and I am convinced that if I were to play him the intro to this show, which is just heavy metal, he'd be like, yo, this shit rocks, what is this? And I would not have the strength to tell him what it is. Isolated, but needs companions occasionally. Yeah. This is, well, okay, here's the thing. There's a lot of factors. They symbolize individuality because they're the only member of like their genus or something. Isolated, but needs companionship occasionally refers to how they are in the wild. They spend a lot of their time alone and they're okay with it, but occasionally they need other red pandas to hop around with or whatever. And we could see that in Retsuko. She's fine with being alone. She lives alone. She's okay with it. More often than not, she needs some friends around to talk to and to help her with her problems type shit. Easing internal hostility. This one is really cool because I should say, I don't know if you saw it on the symbolism slide, but I got a lot of this from whatismyspiritanimal.com, which is hilarious. And it probably should be noted that I don't believe in that shit. They had a survey on their website to find out what your spirit animal is, and I got a B! They said mine was a B! So the whole site is bullshit, but it has very interesting and factual symbolism regarding these species, so I have no complaints, really. So this whole thing about easing internal hostility comes from, I think, if you see a red panda in your dreams, what does it mean? And it's like a sign that it'll calm yourself and ease your hostility inside of you. Which is like, all right, man. But it reflects with Retsuko because her coping skill, as I brought up before, her death metal vocal screeches. Next up, Washimi, a secretary bird. These two images are really funny to me. Intimidating. They are intimidating. Like, look at that pose, dude. If I saw that shit, if I saw it walking towards me, I'd be like, oh, no thanks. But it reflects because Washimi is very intimidating. They befriend Retsuko later, but at first, Retsuko's like, whoa, I wish I could be like those two, intimidating, but I don't have the strength to go up and talk to them or whatever. Also, Washimi, like, threatens the CEO or something at one point, which it was kind of badass, to be honest, but, I mean, it did happen. Standing up for yourself and others, oh, yeah. She threatened the CEO because Retsuko's boss was misogynistic. So Washimi went and threatened the CEO to do something about it. Type shit. All right. Bonds between family and friends. Yeah, so Washimi, Retsuko, and the last one on the slide, Gori, are, the classic unbreakable bond of friendship type shit. And we see it form throughout the season. And Washimi is the catalyst. Last slide, Gori is a gorilla. I guess specifically a silverback gorilla. No, it's not. It's something. And this slide is funny to me because when I looked up Gori Aggretsuko, that's the first image I found. No, it isn't. It was the first image I found that I laughed at, so I'm like, I'm going to use it. It's a vinyl figure from Amazon. All right, what we got? I actually don't remember. The great socializer. Yeah, we see that in Gori. She's very loud and talkative. Self-respect and power. Man, I don't know, man. I was reading the article about gorilla, like symbolism, and I was like, that one's Gori. Put it in. I don't have any real clear evidence, and I know I'm not a great analyst. Analyst. Wow. Okay, fuck's sake. I'm not a great analyst in that regard if I can't pick out a specific moment of evidence to support that claim. So sorry. Knows healthy. Oh, okay. This is the most important one. Knows healthy versus not so healthy relations. When Retsuko started dating that guy at the end of the season that didn't really give a shit about her in that way, Gori was the first one to notice it and bring it up. Her quote was, there is nothing cool about that guy. Which is a hilarious quote. Just go watch it on God. Honestly, yeah. The thing with this podcast is I'm still not sure whether I want it to be. Actually, it's not supposed to be a replacement of going and watching or reading this media or playing this media. It's more of a way of to introduce pieces of media to my closest friends who are probably the only people who are going to be watching this. And also give my thoughts on it regarding what I think it's about. The character development, the type of themes, the things it teaches me. Because even as adults, we can learn shit. Go watch season 1. And if you like it, watch it all the way through. Don't forget about the 30-minute Christmas special. Don't forget about that one. It is really interesting, and it's kind of cute, and it's engaging. And at points, I did cringe because of some of the visual gags, but it's like, all right, it's fine. It's kind of hooked me. These characters have hooked me. The emotional beats are really good. Season 2 is pretty good. Season 3 is my favorite because they use the word simp. Of course, it's right before Retsuko gets stabbed with box cutters. But that's a spoiler. You should just go watch it. We're back with the D&D style alignment chart. This one is kind of a joke in the bad way because I used Aggretsuko as an example in the last video. And if you remember where I put it, good job. Middle box. The style is very childlike, and furries at its core is kind of a childlike fandom, so it would be better in here. That's why Zootopia was right here, but BoJack was right here. BoJack is way too adult for the fandom. Zootopia isn't. Nor is Aggretsuko. And I've seen on the internet, or at least talking with some of my friends, that it's popular. My friend Trenton likes this show, and he's not a furry, I don't think. So that's why I went in this middle box, that it's somewhat known outside the fandom, because I think it is. Oh, yes, this is where I learned that Amazon Silk cannot read emojis right, because this box here is supposed to be the pointing emoji, and it's not. Anyway, so more about this stupid shit to come. If you, the viewer, get this podcast popular enough, yeah, like I said, I'm willing to go back, rewatch season 1 again, and get more of my thoughts in order, and go deeper into the season than what I did with just this overview, because this overview ain't shit, honestly. But if I go episode by episode, I can delve deeper in those topics and those messages and the character development. and more symbolism. But yeah, I think... Whoops, don't look at that. So yeah, that's basically it. Like, subscribe, comment, share, tell all your friends about me so I could talk about episode 1 of Aggretsuko in excruciating detail. Again, just go and watch it. It is quite enjoyable, even for those outside of the fandom. And I only call it a furry show because all of them are animals.